in the fam. All in the fam. Come on. It's all in the fam. All in the fam. Come on. Now get your hands up. 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 All in the fam. All in the fam. Come on. Come on.
Hey fam! Welcome to another video segment of All in the Fam. Today we're going to be talking about the keys to self-confidence. And because the season is all about creativity and we're talking to visionaries, we all know that it's hard to create anything, whether it's content, art, designs, clothing, paintings, you name it, without putting our self-confidence out there. So we are going to get into that.
Yeah, so learning about yourself and being positive are two different ways that you can help yourself to get to those points. And so you're confident in whatever you do.
Yes, and we'll also share our testimonies and our breakthroughs of how we decided to put these keys to action, as well as how we overcame the fact that we wanted to create a podcast. So let's get to it. So the first key to self-confidence is to keep a positive attitude. And though it seems kind of superficial because not everybody can just turn on the switch of a positive attitude, you do have to keep in mind that your mindset really reflects your daily actions. And if you can change your mindset to be more positive and get out of a negative rut, you're going to then have actions to do what you want to do, to manifest your aspirations, your goals, your desires. Maybe even not manifestations. If you want to pray about it, whatever you want to do, just be positive about it. And I know it's going to be hard and I know it's going to be challenging, but your mental state, changing your mind, that is going to be key into gaining confidence for yourself. We have to tend to look at the glass half full at times. And personally, I've had insecurities. We all have. We're human. A big insecurity that I had was last year, and it was for this podcast, doing the podcast alone. The former podcast partner of mine, we decided to go separate ways in terms of this project, and I was really nervous and scared to do it alone, and I felt like nobody would care, nobody would listen, and what I had to say and the content that we would put out would be irrelevant. But in terms of looking at it half full, sure, some people won't care. But exactly that's why I wanted to do it. Nobody cares, so what do I have to lose? And I really thank Khamari for coming on to this podcast and helping me. And she had to really, I was not confident last season at all. I would have to do these videos like I'm doing right now alone. And I would just be frustrated with myself because I would mess up here and there and I just wasn't confident on screen. And she definitely whipped that in the bud, helped me. And she literally said to me, like, you have to be positive about what you're putting out. You have to know that what you're putting in, people are going to want to view it. Maybe some don't, but that's okay. That's their loss. And so in terms of my confidence of being on screen for the podcast or my voice being heard by people, I just had to look at it at the glass half full and just think to myself, I'm having fun. I like doing this. I do think the content that we're putting out deserves to be heard. And if some people don't want to listen to it, that's totally fine. As long as I'm having fun, which I am, that's all there is to it.
A time that I feel like I broke out of my insecure thoughts was during 2020. Everybody had that time where they had to go through tough things to get, to the brighter side or the end of the rainbow, wherever you want to see it. One of the things I was insecure about was figuring out like if I was enough. I had just graduated and I thought I was going to get into a different industry in terms of working and having a career, and none of that happened. A couple of months leading up to the pandemic, I was looking for jobs. I had a whole bunch of stuff on my resume. And I thought that, the stuff was solidified, but at the time, I guess that just wasn't what my industry was looking for, or they just didn't know what to identify as that role, a lot of them didn't know what they were doing at the same time. And it took me time to figure out that, it wasn't necessarily me. It was just the industry that I was going in, or maybe that wasn't for me. So I was insecure in my thoughts and thinking, maybe I'm not enough, or maybe I don't have the qualifications that they're looking for. Or maybe I didn't do as much as I thought that I did. And to get myself out of that is 2020 was real reflective. So I was able to look and see what I did. I was like, damn, you graduated college. Not many people can do that. And not many people go. And there's nothing wrong with not going, but that's something I accomplished. I did a lot my senior year, and throughout all my years in college. I did a lot in high school, and I actually got to sit down and remove those insecurities and tell myself this is what you did, and then reflect, and then keep hearing that stuff to tell myself that I am enough and I can do whatever I put my mind to. So with this podcast, this is helping too, because now I can see all the different things that I know that I can accomplish or do myself. So I am enough.
To start my day off, recently I've been in a very strict routine. I would say the past 2 weeks. So in the morning, I'm an early bird. I am a morning person, opposite of Khamari. So I wake up about 6:30, and if I don't get a workout in to start my day, I'm going to be groggy. So I'll either go to Orange Theory, go to Lifetime, or I'll do some yoga or some abs, something just to get me moving, or I'll run a mile, depending on the weather, just so I can get moving. And then when I come back, shower, and then I have my time to myself. I did not practice spending time with myself until this year. I would say I started a little bit last year, but really this year I've gotten into a routine where I sit with my thoughts, I journal, I meditate, I write down how I'm feeling, how I'm treating the world, how the world's treating me, do a devotional, pray. I'll go through a mixture of those things depending on how I'm feeling in the morning. But spending time with yourself and sitting in your thoughts and reflecting on the day before or how you want to start your day currently, that is really going to help your mindset. It really helps me calm down, and I'm not a patient person at all. So if I don't sit with myself in the morning or the afternoon or at night, whether it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long I need to reflect, then probably going to have an attitude, and I don't want people to be around me when I have an attitude. So that's just something that I do to start my day. And oh my gosh, inconvenience. Khamari knows about inconvenience all too well with me. Yesterday, it was funny because I'm not getting too much detail, but it was a lot of inconveniences within the half hour of a time where I was trying to wind down for the weekend. And it's funny because that's God testing my patience. So the universe, the spirits, whatever you believe in, they heard my journal thoughts the night before when I said I need to work on my patience. And the very next day, I failed. Every little inconvenience just hit me. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm just like, So it's frustrating, but I'm learning that when inconveniences do happen, just to sit down, take a deep breath, as my girlfriend says, take deep breaths, and just sit with it and then move on. Make it funny. Or I don't know, just it's not gonna hurt you. A small inconvenience is not gonna hurt you. And yeah, that's how I just get through it. Just make a joke out of it, move on.
Okay, so the first thing I do is I wake up and I say, thank you, Lord, because without him, I don't know what your religion is, but without him, I feel like I wouldn't be where I am today. So it's always good to thank God for what he's done for you, where he's put you, because I'm not in the same place I was last year. So that's always something to be thankful of. I just try to start the day off positive. I have this app called I Am. So I get these positive affirmations in the morning. I need to get back to meditating in the morning, or at least at night, sometime in the day, just to get, back on my stuff. But just starting the morning off right, some music, that'll be uplifting, it'll calm you down. I'm not really a morning person, so I have to bring that into fruition to make me feel a little bit more comfortable in the morning, but it's very zen and mellow in the morning, nothing too negative. I don't really try to look at social media too much. I do check my emails. I'm getting old now, so I gotta check my emails to make sure everything is right in terms of my business and what we're doing. But yeah, it's just keeping it positive in the morning is the first thing that I do, and being thankful and looking around my surroundings and thanking God for being here in another day. When something that comes to me that's an inconvenience, I first try to calm down, because the first thing you do is, for me, when something does not go right, I do get very agitated. I'm a perfectionist for sure, but I just try to calm down, and then I'm like, okay, there's a reason why this is going on. So I try to look for what that reason could be. If I'm being tested, if I'm being pulled in a different direction, to just see it from a different perspective, whatever it could be, that is the way that I get myself out of it. And then I try to look at the positive side of it as well. So that would be a way that I would get myself out of that inconvenience, or how I would look at that, because it's no point. You can't change what's going on. So you have to be able to, just accept it. And then my next thing is like, okay, so how do I fix it? Or what's the next step? Or what do I need to do next? I can't sit there and wallow in that pity for too long. Or I allow myself to feel whatever I need to feel. And then the next step is what we're going to do next.
Okay, so the second key to self-confidence is understanding yourself. And this is where reflecting on your thoughts, your opinions, sitting with your emotions, writing down who you are, what you like, is going to be key. Now, for me, I do like to journal, but if you are not the writing type, you don't have to. You can go on a walk and talk to yourself. Maybe not around people, because they'll probably think you're weird, but I don't know, have a conversation with yourself in your mind. Who are you? And you're not going to figure that out right now. It's going to take a long time. It might take years. It took me years to figure out who I am. And who we are is a multitude of things. It's what we like, what we don't like, our opinions, our spirituality, our religions. It's every little thing about us that we like to give to the world. And you have to be mindful to know yourself, because you can't let other people's stereotypes or their thoughts and judgments and opinions about you get to you, because only you know your truth, and they may only know the half truths. So if you enter in a room and they're already judging you, take that opportunity to show them who you are, because again, only you know who you are, and that's where that confidence is going to come. And if anybody has anything to say about you negatively and you know it's not true, then you know it's not true. I feel like a lot of people in our generation, they struggle with what others have to say about them. And we get so bogged down on, well, they said this and they said that. Well, you know what's true, and I can't stress it enough. So definitely sit down with yourself, reflect, write down who you are, and continue to do that throughout your days, throughout the years. And eventually you may find out. Maybe you won't. Maybe it will take some of you longer. Maybe it'll take you guys one session. But again, we're all different. We all have something to bring to society. And knowing yourself is definitely going to help you with your confidence in many ways, no matter what you're doing or what your intentions are for your life. So know yourself.
So just taking the time to get to know yourself is very important and influential to your self-confidence, because nobody can know you like you. So you have to be able to build whatever character you want to be and that you feel like resonates with you, and be able to put that out as your self-confidence. You can't allow anybody to tell you who you are supposed to be or how you're supposed to do what you want to do, because this is your life. You only get one. If you believe that you are reincarnated afterwards, then you have multiple ones to get it together. But whatever, we're speaking as in present tense. This is something that you have to, go over now. And I can speak for, or as a testimony for myself, I didn't really know much about myself until last year as well. And just taking that time to sit with myself and reevaluate certain things or certain situations, forgiveness, things that I needed to put behind me, things that I needed to let go, and putting myself first as well. Because once you give so much of yourself to what you're doing or other surroundings or different people, you don't really have much to give to yourself. And if you don't have much to give to yourself, then you're putting yourself on the back burner. And I feel like that's what this country and this world does now, is they're not allowing you to really put yourself first in order to be the best person you need to be great for this world. So definitely understanding yourself and trying to look at yourself as not this perfect person, but understand that you have flaws and that you're working towards trying to be the best that you can be. So just know yourself or understand yourself. Don't be upset if you don't know at that moment too. It's gonna take some time.
And so my testimony of taking action. So to reiterate, being positive and understanding yourself or knowing yourself are what we find are the two keys to self-confidence. So my testimony of putting those into action is living by example and reflection. So there's a couple acronyms that I like that I heard from other podcasts, and think of the word fail as an acronym. And when you break that word up, it means first attempt in learning. And this is exactly what we're doing right now with this podcast. Though I may be a little bit insecure because it's not professionally made or whatever, we're attempting at it. We're learning from it. We're learning as we go. And that goes for all the times that I failed in life. And I failed a lot of times. I've made some poor decisions, awful mistakes, just executed things in the wrong manner, and I failed. But I learned from them. And we all have to learn. So another thing is another acronym. There's 3 acronyms. So there's fail, there's end, and there's no. So when something ends, just know that your effort never dies. Indeed, or END, effort never dies. So if you put in the effort, but that action or that project or that goal, desire, that dream ends, the effort that you put in didn't die, and you can still apply that to your next chapter. And when you think of the word no, think of next opportunity. I have been declined job offers. I have been denied into a couple of universities. I have been denied many times in my life. We all have next opportunity. You win some, you lose some. It's that simple. So those are kind of like my mantras that I always keep in my head. And then another thing that I like to live by is big smiles and positive vibes. I always say that. It's even in my Instagram bio. Though I can be cynical at times and pessimistic, just the one thing that I'm known for is my smile. And if I can make somebody's day by smiling at them, and if that's a positive thing, then that's a positive thing. So I live by big smiles and positive vibes, because not only do I affect somebody else's day, that also affects me. And just in terms of, and I had to understand that about myself. I didn't know that I can bring positive energy into a room. I'm very extroverted. I'm very social. My personality blends and molds with different people. I'm not two-faced or anything, but I can hone in on different aspects of my personality to match the energy in the room. And I never really understood that until it took me a couple of years. I had to sit down and reflect on that. So a multitude of all those mantras that I live by, I put into my work, whether it's the podcast, whether it's my actual 9 to 5, whether it's fitness, we are who we are, and there's so many different things that make us who we are. And again, that's learning to understand yourself. Um, but man, a big thing right now is imposter syndrome. Being in the creative community, you see, we consume so much media, and everybody is out here doing great things. And on social media, we're so fixated on, well, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're doing this, they're doing that. What am I doing? Don't worry about that. Instead of looking at other creatives as competition or other people's life statuses as competition, use that as inspiration. Collab with them. Ask people for advice. Ask for help. Don't idolize, don't envy, but that's a great time to get inspiration. And especially since this season is all about creativity and we're talking to different creatives, I feel like that's a really big thing that all of us creatives need to do. Think of how we can inspire and get inspiration rather than be envious and self-loathe. So that's a little bit of my testimony. Just do it, be positive, learn from yourself, take your failures and your difficult times from many situations in your life and put that into what you're putting out. Reflect on it, grow from it, learn from it.
I pretty much had to learn how to put me first. So before the pandemic, I had these tendencies of putting everyone else first. And I never really thought anything of it. I just loved helping people. But while you're helping people, it kind of takes a toll on you a little bit because everybody else's concerns becomes your concerns. Everybody else's hard trials becomes your hard trials, and it's just emotionally draining. And I feel like for me, I was so consumed in helping so many others that I did not have the time to necessarily help myself. So I didn't know that different things that I was insecure about, that it was involved with not really knowing myself or taking the time to understand myself and my feelings and my emotions, because I only had the time to make sure that, everybody else was straight. So it wasn't until I was at this, I want to say this gathering, I don't know what it was for, I don't remember. But this woman asked me, so what do you like? And I really could not tell her. I just burst it out in like tears because I really could not think about what I liked and what I wanted and what made me happy. So at that point, I was like, okay, I need to figure it out. So that was the first step into learning how to put myself first. But then once it became overwhelming for, helping others and in certain situations, I would give so much of myself. And I wouldn't get anything necessarily returned back from those people who I gave myself to. I was like, okay, this has to stop. Because I am drained and I'm taking these negative situations that I'm having with these people and I'm putting that into myself. And I'm not really realizing, who I am or what I have to give to this world or what I like or anything like that. And I would only know the things that I didn't necessarily like about myself or things that I just didn't like overall. So I had to have the time to learn about myself, give myself self-love days and take the time to be by myself as well. I'm already like a loner. I like doing that too because I get to recharge myself before I go and give myself out to the world again. So that was never an issue for me, but I never was able to just recharge and get to know myself. I think I just recharged just through resting. So taking that time to actually sit down with myself and even have self-reflections and talk to God and learn more about myself and learn where I need to go and learn boundaries and different things that I need to do within my lifetime to make sure that I can continue to keep helping people, but still manage myself and my insecurities and different things like that. So I think just learning my flaws, my strengths, my weaknesses, the things that I love about myself, the things that I don't like, and being okay to express that to people without feeling like I'm gonna hurt their feelings or anything like that. I had to be able to be myself. And I feel like this world, everything goes so fast, you don't have the opportunity to actually sit down and learn about yourself. It's just go, 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 go all the time. So with me, I had to take the time to understand who I was, create boundaries for myself, but still figure out what, my calling is, which I believe is helping people, but still manage, knowing myself. And it's an ongoing thing. Like, you're never gonna just know yourself completely from one session of taking the time to know yourself. It's a never ending journey. You have to take those days that you are feeling how you're feeling and allow yourself to feel it, but continue to keep analyzing it or detailing different things so you know how to adjust different situations in your life. And like I said before, in terms of being positive, you have to take those negative situations and make them positive. You have to figure out what the issue is, figure out how you can fix it, and then there's your solution. So I think with me, with my insecurities, making sure that I am taking care of myself so I can manage those insecurities and not allow those insecurities to define who I am. So I would say that would be how I took action with some of my insecurities.
That is a wrap, fam. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video segment about the keys to self-confidence. Let us know in the comments sections or DM us. Share your testimony. How did you overcome your insecurities and your struggles in life? And if you're going through anything right now, let us know. You are a part of the fam. Make sure you check out the next podcast episode. We'll be speaking with Layla Broadwick next Wednesday on September 1st. She is a plus size model, and she's going to talk about her journey in the industry and also as a content creator for her own magazine called Avant.
And also make sure that you subscribe to us on YouTube and like this video. And also follow us on Instagram at allinthedotfam.
Love you guys.
See you in the next episode.